welcome back to the Let's Chat podcast. Um, Today I'm literally just talking. Like, I couldn't decide if I wanted to do wrapping up like part two of my job employment history. I think that was the first episode I did. Like going over like jobs I've had and stuff and stories. Um, and I want to finish that. That's probably what I'm going to title the video. But I also never finished talking about some dates or just like experiences with men that I think are funny and definitely need to be on the internet for anyone to watch anytime. Um, so I think I'm just kind of gonna like talk, and I'm gonna just talk the rest about my employment history, and then I'm gonna just talk about some funny things with men that like really cracked me up that I just feel like getting off my chest like today. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, there's not really any rhyme or rhythm to this episode. I'm just gonna be talking because I'm bored, and yeah, it's a Friday night, and this is what I'm doing, and that's okay. You know what? That's totally okay. I'm content, so I'm not complaining. I need a sip of water. All right. So, employment history. I think I left off on. I think I only got to the Italian restaurant that I shared some stories of, and there were so many other stories from that restaurant. And I'm just gonna tell a few of them. Yeah, because I don't think I finished them. But so at that Italian restaurant, I discussed in length of how it was a very negative work environment for me. There was one time, I don't think I talked about it, but there was one time where a customer, I was 15, we all make mistakes, or I think it might have been 16 at this point, but a customer had left, or what I thought that they had left, they like order, or they like put their leftovers in like a to-go container, and I thought they just left it and then they left, because it happens all the time, some people decide not to bring the leftovers home once they like ask for it and all that. So I was busting a table and I see this to-go container of food. My mind just thinks, oh, they just left it, I'll just toss it, doesn't matter. Yeah, I wouldn't do that now. Learned my lesson, because I did that, and then turns out they were just like in the bathroom, or maybe they had forgotten the order, but it was a to-go order, not just their leftovers, and I threw it away. And this was like an expensive Italian restaurant, so it was like a nice pasta probably that was, I threw away. So yeah, definitely my bad, completely my bad. But my manager comes up to me and she's like, do you know where like this to-go order went? And I was like, oh, like what table was it for? And then she showed me. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I threw it away, I completely thought it was just like leftovers, like I am so sorry. She proceeds to start screaming at me screaming at me and saying, you're so fucking stupid, like you're so fucking stupid, how could you do that, you're so fucking stupid. And then she like walks away, and then I hear her talking shit about me to my coworkers, like she's so fucking stupid, this fucking girl, like she's a stupid fucking idiot, like. And it was a very busy Friday night, so like I totally get tensions are high, like mama, like tensions are high. Also, sorry about the reflection of my glasses, I know it's probably a little annoying, but like totally get it. But like calling your like 16-year-old what's it, not even coworker, she was my boss, like she was my manager, like someone you're in charge of, you're calling them fucking stupid, is just a little crazy in my opinion, especially over something not technically that deep. Like, yeah, in the moment it's a little bit like, oh my God, this is inconvenient, duh, but a little crazy to me that she did that. Fully take accountability for throwing away that, like that fucking sucks, I'm an idiot, yeah, but like it's not that serious, um and then I thought of another one where I was bar backing one night, and I was like cleaning a wine glass, and I pressed too hard on the wine glass, and then it like shattered and cut my hands. Like my hands had like a bunch of cuts on them. Honestly, this one's like not that crazy because like in hindsight, I did not need to go to the ER or anything, but it was like cuts all over my hand. I actually don't even think I should be sharing this one because it's like honestly not really that intense. But I went to I like showed my manager. I was like, oh my, and I go to the like break room, whatever, and I sit in a chair and I like my hands are bleeding everywhere and I call my mom and I'm like I need to go home, like like I need to go home, like come pick me up, and she's like stay there, you need to fucking finish your job, bitch. And I'm like and I like show my manager and like literally when I tell you that the point of the story was I was heartbroken that I couldn't go home, and I was like really contemplating like pretending like I needed stitches because I would do anything to go home on like when I was working a shift. Literally like 2 days prior, this really hot guy that I used to work with. Oh my god, Garrett, if you're listening, you know who I'm talking about. Oh my god, the hottest man in the entire world who Garrett and I would just like gawk over. Oh my god, he would wear like a fucking like white wife beater like at the end of wife pleaser, like at the end of a shift, like he would take off like his like button up and just be wearing a white wife pleaser. Okay, sorry. But literally like 2 days prior, he had like cut his hand or like his finger really bad and he needed stitches. So he like I remember I like walked into the kitchen and I saw him like what? Like scream like happy, like jumping up and down because he got to leave early to go to the ER to get stitches. That's how like excited people would be when they got injured because it meant they could leave. I'm not even fucking kidding you. One time, oh my god, this I love this one. One time Garrett and I were working together and it was like a really busy Friday or Saturday night or something, and we were like talking about how bad we wanted to, like how just like any option to leave we wanted, like what talking about how miserable we were or whatever. And then he was like, there was like a Starbucks like down the street in the middle of the shift. He snuck out of the restaurant and went and got a Starbucks. Mind you, like we weren't allowed to have like any like food or drinks. Like we had to eat before the shift, and our shift started at 4, which I went over in the last episode. But he snuck out, went to Starbucks, got a Starbucks, and like snuck back in during a busy ass Friday or Saturday, and I like covered for him. Like I was so we were so, or he wasn't scared, but I was so scared that our manager was gonna find out because like he literally just like left the middle of the shift to go get Starbucks, but whatever. And like I remember one time I definitely was like busing alone or something, and I was cleaning up the restaurant, and okay, when I first started working there, morning shift would mop, morning shift would mop. I didn't always work a weekend morning, but like sometimes I would work a weekend morning, I would mop then, morning shift mops, that makes sense. And then of course when I'm busser, they start implementing no, busters need to mop at night and morning just to make sure we do a good enough job at night and in the morning. So for someone like me who would work a Friday night and then the Saturday morning, I'm just mopping the whole restaurant twice for no reason. So it was like one night, and mind you, this would be at 1 a.m. Like, not a fucking ounce of motivation in me to do literally any, like there is quite literally anywhere I'd rather be than mopping the restaurant floor. Like I just wanted to go home and go to sleep, but I'd be mopping that restaurant and like whole restaurant, like basically whole restaurant, like mop so much. And all of the servers were like sitting at the bar like drinking after their shift or something, and there was something I was trying to do, like I needed to move something, or like I needed help with something, but I wasn't asking for it. I was just like whatever, because I didn't really talk to any of the servers. They were all kind of mean. But the bartender was like, why don't we, or they asked, oh, the bartender like asked the servers to do something, like she or he was like, oh, why don't you go like do this, like why don't you help out, like go do this. And then one of the servers was like, just let the busser do it, like why don't we just let the busser do it. And I was like standing behind him like with a gun, like I literally was like, oh, I will kill you right now, like I can't do, like, oh my god, no, that shit was awful. But Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of tired of talking about this restaurant. So, moving on. Okay, so after I worked at this Italian restaurant, I worked at, where did I work at? Oh, Chante. I found Chante. So, oh my god. I forgot about the night that I quit. I forgot the night that I quit the Italian restaurant. um, I've never had like such a actually never mind, lied. I'm like really bad about quitting jobs actually. Like there's only been one time where I've given 2 weeks notice because it's usually I'm quitting for like an immediate reason, not great on my part, but whatever. But the night I quit, finally, you know how I told in the last episode that I was like, I had that experience where I literally was called like too ugly to be a hostess, um there was one time where my manager texted me, "Hey, Valentine's Day weekend, the busiest weekend at this restaurant, the whole year. The busiest weekend of the restaurant is Valentine's Day weekend. Everyone goes to like a nice Italian restaurant for Valentine's Day." She goes, "Hey, we need another hostess. Can you train to be a hostess on Valentine's Day weekend? Like just jump in and be a hostess. No training, just like train while you're there, like, whatever." And I was like, "Oh my god, like I finally get to wear a dress to this restaurant. I finally get to like look good and like be, appreciated." Worst shift of like my entire life. It was so bad. It was so bad. I got screamed at again because I was stupid. I made a mistake. Like got screamed at. Ended up sobbing outside of the restaurant, sitting in the snow because it had snowed that weekend. I was just like sitting out there, just like sobbing, being like, "What the fuck am I doing with my life? Like I need to quit this job. Like I can't do this anymore." Um, and so my mom picked me up and I was like, "I'm quitting tonight. Like I'm quitting tonight." Like I've never just like quit a job immediately, but I literally, because I literally was supposed to work the next day. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And so I texted my boss at like 11 or 12 at night. And I was like, "Hi, unfortunately, I will be no longer able to work this job, effective immediately. There were just some issues tonight and I just can't do it." Like I just said something and I was like, "Bye." And then she was drunk at this hour. No hate to you, Queen. But she was drunk at this hour. Cause she, like, after the restaurant closed, like, she was having, like, friends come to the bar and she was, like, my manager or whatever. And she was, she's having a fun time. So she was drunk. So she replied and she was like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear about this. Like, what happened?" And then I was just gonna, like, leave it at that. And I just, like, wasn't gonna respond. The next day, 4 o'clock rolls around when I'm supposed to be working. But I'd quit the night before, so I didn't think it was gonna be an issue. She calls me and she's like, "Where are you? Where are you? Why aren't you at work?" And I was like, "I quit, girl. What the fuck you mean? I quit. I quit." And then she's like, "Oh no, we need to talk about that." I was like, "You were too blacked out to remember it, I guess, but I quit." Okay, done with that one. Sorry. Okay, so about a month, I think maybe like 3 weeks. I was really enjoying. I was processing the trauma from that job, so I didn't get another job for about like 3 weeks, which is like a pretty quick turnaround, honestly, for like a 16-year-old. So I was like, whatever. And one day, my mom and I walk into this restaurant, this beautiful restaurant that I now call my second home. Rest in peace. I walk into this like random Mexican food restaurant, and my mom and I were eating there, and I was like, "Let me just ask for an application." And yeah, got the application, started working there a week later, and that would be where I worked for the next, let's see, 3.5 years. Yeah, I worked there for like 3.5 years. Had many jobs while working there. Obviously I moved last year, so I really only worked there like on breaks and stuff. So technically, like, not a full 3.5 years, but I consider it 3.5 years. Yeah, second home. Love that place, my whole heart. Yeah, has a really close place to my heart. Anyways, I'm not gonna like talk too much about Chontex. Like, if you know me, you know all the stories and you know everything about it. Like, it's like literally like my personality trait that I worked there. So yeah. If any of my Chante family is listening to this, love y'all. All right. While working at Chante, let's see, I worked there for about a year. Great. Oh my God, the first like 2 years of working there was just like something in the air. Like the way that I've seen so many workers come and go, not in like a bad way, like we're always like rotating workers, just like, like within like 3 years, like there's so many new cooks that come around, hosts, servers, like everyone. And I feel like every year I like associate with like the crew that was working there at the time, and like it's always like there's so many stories. Oh my God. I love it. Also got my two best friends to work there too at different points. They both quit 2 times and worked there. Wait, let me think. Let's see. I got Lydia a job there like a few months after I started working there, and then we worked that summer there together, and then I think she quit, and then Amanda started working there. She quit. Lydia started working there again. She quit. Amanda only worked there twice. Lydia worked there 3 times. Sorry to like clock y'all about like on the podcast, but whatever, y'all. It's funny. Yeah, no, Lydia quit and worked there 3 different times. um, all for valid reasons. Yeah. Sorry, that's just like killing me right now. Actually, I never quit. I stay loyal. Thank you. Okay. Anyways, so I think I had worked at Chante for like a full year, and then that summer, my friend, or I guess like I had like 3 friends working there. There was this like random restaurant. This is like no one remembers that I worked at this place because it was so like irrelevant to like my life. But I had a few friends working at this like restaurant. It was like a new restaurant in this like new area that had just been like building restaurants. Um, and I started working there. I got a job there as a host, and the only reason I got the job, well, obviously I wanted to be like working 2 jobs so I could like make the money, and I heard that like, or I was told that my hourly was going to be like $15 to $17 just for a hostess, which is like, in my opinion, great for Texas wages as well, specifically Texas wages. Like that's great. Okay. And so I was so excited. I started working there, and then it was just like awful. Like, um, if you remember with the Italian restaurant thing, I constantly, or the very first time, my first paycheck was really horribly messed up. I made no money on my first paycheck, even though I worked like the hardest I'd ever worked. My paychecks were just constantly being messed up, and so I was very sensitive on that topic, and I was just like, if any of my checks get messed up, like, or if I don't get paid the amount that I was told or that I deserve, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay. And first paycheck rolls around, I find out that I was getting like a $9 hourly, and for the amount of work at that job, $9 was not worth it. Not worth it at all. And it was just like a weird restaurant. Like it was like a sports bar, like trying to be a sports bar. It had like an arcade, but it was like a higher end like sports bar, I guess. And it was just like weird. And I always was cut so early because there were no customers because it flopped. I worked there. Whoa, sorry, I'm talking really loud. I worked there for about a month, and then I quit. Um, Also in a very quick manner, I quit like I did at the other restaurant because I got a paycheck, and I was missing like $100 on it, and I told them. They were like, oh no, looks right to me. Same thing happened that happened at the Italian restaurant, and then I had to be like, no, these are the hours I worked. And then it was just like this whole thing, and I was like, I'm not going to be working here if I get treated like I did at the other restaurant. Like, not worth it to me. So then I quit. You know what, it's really not that deep to quit a restaurant job. It's really not that deep. Just do it. Don't stay. If you're miserable, don't stay for a restaurant job specifically. They'll live. Doesn't matter the circumstance, honestly. They'll live. Like, it's really okay. It's what I've learned. So yeah, that was a very short-lived, like, random thing in my life. I don't even know. Worked there for a month, and then kept working at Chante. Yeah, that's 4 jobs, and then 4 jobs total at that point. And then I moved to Colorado, and I was hustling and bustling trying to find a job for like the first 3 weeks of living there. It was really difficult to find a job for me. In my opinion, like I almost got scammed. I almost started working at a maid service. I'm just like I try like I don't even know. I tried to work at a maid service and they almost like scammed me. It's just struggling trying to find a job. Okay. Oh, well, actually at this point I forgot I got a job at a dance studio as a dance teacher. And I taught 5 to 6 year old ballet and tap for the whole year. Beautiful experience. I truly enjoyed it a lot. It was very hard at points because um it was just very difficult. I had no clue teaching dance specifically was so difficult. Like I did not know what I was getting into, and I learned so much. And I also was like a substitute teacher for other classes, which was like, oh my god, that like fulfilled me so much. Like that, yeah. I honestly loved the experience. Like looking back, I think during it, sometimes I would get caught up in like stress and like dreading the anxiety that would come with like prepping for the class, teaching the class, having the kids like be on their worst behavior because I'm learning how to deal with kids and like teach them productively and just be a good teacher. Like it was so difficult, but I loved it. um and I one time had, in the beginning of working there, actually, like probably after the first like month and a half, I no maybe like 2 months, I had a parent of one of the kids email my boss about me, and then my boss just forwarded it to me and was like, here's this. And she was like, why don't you come and sit in one of my classes and watch how I teach, just so you can like pick up on that, because this is bad. And obviously she didn't say that word for word, but it was around that gist. But my student's mom emailed and was like, my daughter dreads going to class every Saturday. She's bored out of her mind. The teacher is no fun. Every time there's a substitute teacher, my daughter wants to go to class and she loves it. She has so much fun. But this teacher doesn't know what she's doing. I knew she was new to this, so I gave her some grace in the beginning, but I just like can't do this anymore. Like, my daughter hates this class. Like, she's no fun. She has no energy. Just like going off on this. Okay. And at first, of course, I took it very personally because, like, duh. Like, I'm just like that. Like, I'm gonna take that personally at first. And then I tried to take it as a learning experience. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna flip this around. Obviously, I agreed with the mother on a lot of points, and I was like, oh my god, no, this is productive. Like, this is constructive criticism. Some of it I think she could have done without, of the like, every time there's a substitute teacher, my daughter loves her class, but when it's the actual teacher, she hates it. Like, that was like a little bit unnecessary, but she could have maybe said it in a more productive manner. But I'm honestly glad it happened because I was able to learn from it, and I was able to switch the class around and make it more fun, because I realized after that, okay, shit, I am like a little bit boring. I kind of forget that kids don't care about dancing that much at that age. Like, oh my god, though, whenever I would see like the kids start to love dancing, like when they would like focus really hard on trying to get a certain step or a certain move, and they would get it and they would get happy after I like praised them. No, I want to be a dance teacher for like the rest of my life, but I only did it for a year, and then obviously I moved here, so yeah, we had a recital and it was so cute. Okay, sorry, I just went on a tangent about the dance teacher thing. So anyways, oh yeah, so I was job searching for like about a month, and then I find a job at none other than Olive Garden. Bomb, meet 'em up. Ay. I get the job there. I was like, it's Olive Garden, like, not like the most excited in the world. It was just money, and it gave me something to do because I literally had like no life in Colorado, really, so I just needed a job. Started working there, and I had never worked, well, I guess no, Firehouse Subs was like chain restaurant, you know, but much different vibes from like Olive Garden. But it was like I forgot like how different of an experience like a chain restaurant is compared to like a family owned or like a small business. Oh my God. Um, it's just so much, it's just so different, and I didn't realize I forgot. The training was like a 3 day, 4 hours a day process. Like, god damn, that training was so intense for what? Like, it was no, I'm right. It was not 3 days, it was like a week. And then like the Friday night, it was like whenever we got to like go on the floor and like show what we had learned and like serve and stuff. Like, I don't know, it was just like so deep for what. Obviously had to like learn about wines, learn the whole menu. We tasted the whole menu, which was kind of fun. Like, that was kind of good time. I trained with literally the like sexiest love of my life man. God, we had something and he didn't know it. We had something so special and he didn't know it. And like, you know what? Like, I'll just probably always remember him, except I know that one day we'll meet again. Here, that's the thing. Like, he fully lives in a different state. We'll meet again. One day our love will flourish and we'll come back together and finally get to explore what I know is true. Anyways, so I trained with two other people and it's like a week-long thing. And oh my God, one thing about Olive Garden is it is a fucking laborious, like physically taxing job. Okay, like the trays, you know, like the big trays that you like. Okay, this is like, okay, this was just my first experience with like, I would say a real serving job, because like Chante serving is a little bit different because it's a much smaller restaurant. And if you don't know what it is, it's a Mexican restaurant, family owned, that I worked at for 3 years. That's what I had said earlier, but like, just like, I'm just saying the name of it just because everyone knows it if you know me. Okay, anyways, um, it was like more of a real serving job for me than Chante was, because Chante's a small restaurant, not very physically demanding, you know. But the big trays that I would have to like really strategically place like 6 bowls of pasta, a massive salad bowl, like breadsticks in between the bowls of pasta, that fuck ass Parmesan grater that always has to be on the fucking tray. Oh my God, the Parmesan jokes I never got. Never. There would never be a shift where I didn't hear the fucking, you can just leave it here. You can just leave the Parmesan grater here. Does your arm get tired? And I would eat it up because I would make the same jokes and that would give me more of a tip. I'd be grating that Parmesan. I'd be like, I've gained a lot of like arm strength from working here, right? Yeah. Yeah. I can do this all night. I'll be here all night. That'd be me. They ate it up every time too. Like, oh my God, I would milk the shit out of using that Parmesan grater. Anyways, the trays, and then with, once again, this is like so normal for most serving jobs, I feel like, but my first experience with it, I didn't know. Okay, but like the tray with all the food, like so heavy, bounce out on your shoulder strategically. Also make sure your hair is not in the food, because that happened a few times for me. It's really gross. Sorry, my hair would be up obviously, but sometimes like my ponytail end would just kind of like, ooh, brisk the chicken gnocchi soup. Ooh, just a little brisk. There's worse that happens to your food at restaurants. You don't even know. um and I would like be holding the tray, and then you have to like, there'd be like sections where they have the little stands that you put the tray on, you know, to serve the food. There'd be sections dispersed around the restaurant that had like a bunch of the stands, so you have to like walk to the table, grab the stand, and then you have to like flip it out and then like place the tray on it, you know. And that was like what I was most nervous with, was the job, honestly, is I was just scared I was gonna drop that fucking tray, because I'm just so petite. I'm so petite and tiny. I'm so petite and tiny. The tray is just too big for me. It swallows me up. Sorry, that was gross. I like had, you know, and then, oh my God, one time I spilt an entire, no, I need to breathe for this one. There's like 2 things that just came to mind that I did. Oh my God. One time I spilt an entire Italian margarita. So we have, oh my god, one thing about Olive Garden is literally a rule from the federal government. Just kidding. From like the Olive Garden Corporation. It is a rule. Anything you are bringing to a customer has to be brought out on a tray. If it was some napkins. Napkins. Okay, never mind. Napkins are a little extreme. If it was like a little cup of lemons, like just a little side of lemons, has to be on a tray. Has to be on a tray. A side of ranch has to be on a tray. Any drink. Oh, you are not holding that drink. You are not holding those drinks. No, has to come out on a tray. Which is difficult for me because I'm really bad with trays. Well, I got good at it from this job, but before I was really bad with trays. If there's a chance for me to just bring it out with my hands and make like 2 to 3 trips to the kitchen and back, totally okay with that. But also with Olive Garden is it's like such a massive restaurant that like, and depending on what section I was in for the night, like I usually would be like across the building. So going to the kitchen was kind of a lot. Like, like going making trips. But I mean, I was doing it all night because of fucking refills. We'll get there. But one time I spilt an entire Italian margarita on a man because I had to bring it out on a tray. And of course the margarita is in a glass with the smallest stem possible, the tiniest stem for the biggest like fucking cup of a glass with a to the brim. Sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry about the audio. With a to the brim filled margarita. To the brim. And you bet your ass I never ever put that damn margarita on a tray ever again. My manager would like got mad at me a few different times because she would see me walk in holding that margarita. Would you rather have me spill it on a customer by putting it on a tray or hold it? What do you want? Okay. I spilled it all over him. It was so bad, all over his shirt. Sticky margarita, like fucking ew. And it comes with like a shot of amaretto on the side. Just the shot and the margarita all over him. Another time, back to the tray thing, I spilt 4 to 5 cups of water on a customer. I put like one water down on the table and I was holding it. Every one of the water glasses spills all over this man, drenching his entire outfit. Of course, thank God, the nicest customer I'd ever met. I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, I literally was like, well, oh my god, fuck this audio. I was like, oh my god, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I genuinely, of course, I felt awful, and I was making that very clear. I was like, oh my god, like, your meal's free. Like, my manager gave him his whole meal free, gave him a free shirt. He was taken care of, but I apologized like for the entire dinner throughout, like after, like bad. 5 cups of water on this man, or like 4 to 5 cups of water on this man. Like that is awful. Like, oh my god. Anyways, I would say my most like jarring like serving story though of all time happened here. So there was one time. Ooh, I just remembered like 3 other things. Okay, there was one time where I don't think I'm gonna get to the boys discussion today, honestly, because I've been yapping and shit talking for a very long time about my job. I'm not even done job history, so it's okay. But there's one time, it was a very slow like fucking like Wednesday afternoon or something, and I, of course, oh my god, if you work a lunch shift, you're not making much because everyone it's all old people, and they all get the $10.99 unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks deal. And the whole point of Olive Garden is you are supposed to be refilling these customers' things constantly. Like, we have like, our managers are constantly walking around making sure that if they see an empty glass or an empty thing, they refill it, and then they get mad at you because they had to, and that you weren't doing your job because it's not like everything needs to be full at all times, essentially, which doesn't even make sense if you actually think like that's not even like realistic, but whatever. Refills is like the biggest thing there. But I had this like old guy, not that old, like probably like 60s maybe, okay, late 50s, and he's sitting at a booth, and he's alone, which easy for me, but I'm not making money. So, talking to him. Hey, how you doing? Whatever. My name is Reagan. I'll be your server today. And then he's like, we're talking, and he's like, oh, are you in school? And I was like, oh, I go to community college. But I'm actually a dance teacher, so I'm like focusing on that right now, whatever. And I tell him I'm a dance teacher, and I see on his face, he's like, or no. I did not say dance teacher. I just said I'm a dancer. That's what I said. I said, I'm a dancer though, like, working on that. And he goes, like, rolls his eyes visibly rolls his eyes. Like, and I'm like, why is he upset that I'm a dancer? And then he goes, anything to make money, right? I gagged. Gag city population, me. Oh my god, I was like, but I didn't process what he had said when he said it. So I was like, no, I was like, yeah, right, no, right. And then I like walked away, and I was like, wait, I was like, why did he say like anything to make money, right? He thought I was a stripper. Like, honestly, like, compliment as fuck. Love that you think I could be a stripper. Love that. But I'm like, bitch, I teach 5 to 6-year-olds tap and ballet on the weekends. Like, the most wholesome it can get is what I'm doing, like, far from stripping, okay? And I was just like, that's like kind of crazy to say to someone though, like, anything to make money, right? Girl, I work at Olive Garden. Like, I'm doing anything to make money right now. I work at Olive Garden, like. And I walk away, and I tell all my coworkers, I'm like, this bitch thinks I'm a stripper. Like, what the fuck? Like, what was he like? And then he gets the end of this meal. And of his unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks for $10. Okay, yeah, his ticket was like $11. Okay, and so I do this. I learned since, but I used to always do this thing every single time. If they give me cash, I don't even look at how much they're giving me. I just ask, would you like your change? Okay? I just always do that because it kind of guarantees me tips, typically. Or not guarantees me tips, but like, it's like, it's helping the process of like, oh, can I just like keep this amount and keep the rest? Like, this is my tip, it's safe to just always ask, would you like me to get your change? Or would you like your change with that? Like, whatever, I was just asking. I don't do this anymore because I've learned, they might not always want their change, or they might want their change, okay? Anyways, so I just ask him, and then I look and I realize, oh, he handed me $100 bill. $100 bill for his $11 order. And he was like, yeah, I think I want the change. And I was like, okay. Sorry, fuck this audio, I need to figure it out. So sorry. But I was like, okay, I'll get that change. My bad. It's just like force a habit. Like, I just always ask that, I didn't say that, but I was like, okay, yeah, no, you might want that. So I'm like running around the fucking restaurant trying to find someone that has $90 of change, because the person that typically gives me change at the cash register wasn't there. So I was like running around the restaurant, and as I'm probably like looking for like 7 minutes to find someone that has $90 of change, or that can break in 100. And I walk past the bar, like, I'm like fast walking past the bar, and I see him standing near the bar. Like, he got up from his table, and I was like, oh, sorry, I'm just like looking for some change for you real quick. Like, I'll be back in 2 seconds. And he's like, no, I changed my mind. And I was like, about what? Like, what do you change your mind about? And he's like, no, I want you to keep the change. And I was like, what's up? I was like, you want me to keep $90? Come again? And he was like, I was like, are you sure? Like, you want me to keep this change? And he was like, yeah, you can keep the change. I changed my mind. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, of course I gave this whole like performance, theatrical performance. And he was like, yep, have a good one. And then like left. And I was like, so he insulted me, but gave me $90 for it. Bitch, I'll take any insult, like, give me any, you got more, I'm here. Like, give me more insults if it means I get $90. I was like, wow. So I think maybe he like felt bad that he had said that to me, even though it's not that offensive. Okay, strippers are awesome. Okay, but regardless, that was like probably my craziest, and I think the biggest tip I've ever gotten, $90. Which to some people, to some servers that work at nice restaurants or like restaurants that typically give them a lot of money, that's not a lot, but that's a lot to me. Okay. Maybe I got $100 one time. I can't remember. I don't know. Anywho, yeah, that was Olive Garden, and then I got a job that was also a very like random thing in my life. Technically, like if you know me, like it was just random. You know, it doesn't really make sense for me. But so before I moved to Colorado and I was looking at jobs, I remembered I had three friends that worked at different eye doctors. Okay, as like front desk people slash. Well, I thought they just did front desk. Turns out, no, they didn't. Like, hey y'all know who I'm talking to. I didn't know y'all were doing eye technician stuff. I thought y'all were just like front desk people, which or like receptionists, or styling, you know, things like that. And I heard y'all make a lot of money, so I was like, that would be a good job to look into. So, like months before I moved to Colorado, and I was just trying to set up a job, you know, for when I got there, I contacted every dentist office, every eye doctor office, seeing if anyone needed a receptionist. And I stumble across this eye doctor, and we talk, and she's like, "Oh," my boss was like, "Oh, we're not really hiring right now, but like, you know, December we might be looking for someone, so we'll be in contact again like later in the year if you're looking for a job still." And I was like, "Great." So December comes around, she reaches out again. So I get the job set up, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I can quit Olive Garden, thank God!" Like, and I'll be making a lot of money working full time. Like, it sounded great to me because I was like, this is my time for a big girl job. At the fresh age of 19, I'm ready for a big girl job. No, you're not, bitch. Like, no. But I was like, this will be great for me. I can finally get out of the restaurant industry. Worked in it for like 4 years, which isn't a lot, but it's a lot, like for me, I was ready to like do something different for once. And it sounded like such a great opportunity. I know nothing. Nothing. Well, now I know some, but I at the time knew nothing about eyes or anatomy or optometry, like nothing. I'm not a math and science person. I'm an English and like history person, like I forget which side of the brain I use more, but it's like I use the creative, that's I don't use like I'm just not like a math science smart person like that. I'm not like book smarts. I just don't work like that. Like my mind doesn't work like that, and I've never had an interest in anything medical, anything near medical related. I've never had an interest in that. This was a cash grab, being completely honest. But you can't tell your boss that it's a cash that you're working there for a cash grab, okay? So of course I'm talking it up in my interview, and I'm like, of course I didn't lie that I knew anything. Like I flat out told her, I was like, I know nothing about this line of work. I know nothing about optometry. I know nothing about eyes, but I'm open to learning. Obviously, I just want a new path. I want to try something different. Um, I'm like talking it up in like that type of way, and it it I it was just an experience. It was just like crazy, honestly. So I started working there. Of course, training never really ended because I never fully got the hang of the job, I would say. Like it actually baffles me that I ever like learned anything because I'm not science and math. I can't do that shit. I cannot retain the information that you need, for a job like that. Like, but so I, of course, when I wanted to get the job, I thought I was signing up for a receptionist. So I was like, I don't even need to know much of the I stuff, I don't even need to know much. I can learn insurance. I can learn, you know, customer greetings and like organizing, like that shit I can do. Like that shit I knew I could do. I was like, yeah, I can get that one down. Like I would love that. But there already was a full-time receptionist, or not full-time. There was like a few days she was off. So my boss offered, okay, some days you'll be receptionist, some days you'll be eye technician. I was scared shitless, but I was like, I'm doing nothing else in my life, so I just like was like, I'll just dedicate everything to this job right now. And it was so difficult. Um, had to learn like the most amount of information and just like a whole new wave of like thinking and just a whole like learning all about eyes, and like it like baffles me. Sorry, I like can't even think of words right now like to like describe it. Like eye technicians, like we like literally sorry, the 3 people watching this that have this job, y'all are like, it's not that fucking hard. Like it's really not that hard, but like for me it was so difficult. I don't know how y'all do it easy. But it's also, I think the specific location I worked at, there was a different approach to the practice that the establishment had. A different approach, and I'll just leave it at that. So there was just kind of like it was a very small business, very, small family working together, like a very small group of people that worked there. And yeah, I did the training, and then I would work from 7:50 or 8 a.m. to 5:30 every day, except I would leave, or it was a half day on Friday. And then for a while I had Tuesdays off because I had class that day, and then I needed to start working that day because someone needed off that, it was a whole thing, whatever. So it was just like exhausting. I really didn't, it was just not where I was meant to be. It was just not my calling. Like I realized very quickly, I was like, okay, so I know for sure I definitely am a creative artsy person, and I never want to work here. I never want to work in the medical field or anything like that. Like I'm glad I did it because it was like a little taste of a big girl job, it was a little taste of like office life. And it made me realize how bad I don't want to have to do that in my life. sorry. It made me realize how bad I never want to have to do that in my life. Maybe that's just a naive way of thinking. That's okay. But yeah, it was just, I never got good at it. Like I got okay at it. Like the receptionist stuff, I think I got pretty down. Like insurance and like organizing calls. Oh my god, I would have so much fun being a receptionist because I literally would be we were microphones. I forgot about, now this like so many things are coming back to me. We wore like headsets through the whole day, and you bet your ass every time I had nails on, I'd be typing that computer, and I'd be like, people walk in, 7 phone calls. Hi, can I put you on hold? Hi, how can I help you? Call. Oh yeah, you need to cancel this appointment. Got you. You need to make a new appointment. Okay, let's get your new patient in. Get all their information. All right, do you want to give me your insurance now or when you get here? Okay, awesome. Okay, we are in connection with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Okay, awesome. Yep. And if you just want to send over the, oh my god, I'm like getting flashbacks now. I forgot about all the stuff that I had to learn. Receptionist stuff, I got pretty down. And then it was just the eye technician stuff. I just wasn't great at it. Like, I did okay. Oh my god, one time I was taking a patient back and I was like, hi, my name is Reagan. I'll be your server today. I told a patient I was going to be her server today, and I was like, oh, wrong job. I said to her, I was like, oh, wrong job. So sorry. That was just like, my brain went there for some reason. Sorry, I used to work at Olive Garden. And she was like, hey, it's okay. It was funny. I'm really embarrassing. Oh my god. But we would take, like I'd take a patient back, take pictures of their eyes, we do some eye tests, and then I'd take them to the room, and then we do the acuity chart, where you like have to read far away and you read how far down you can read, whatever. And then I do like cover tests, and I'd get their eye pressure, get their blood pressure, ask them questions, ask them all their history, and get it all ready so that when the doctor came in, it was all ready to go. And then I'd have to scribe for the doctor where I'd sit and I'd write down everything they're saying, the patient's saying, and then I have to put in their chart, like if they have phorias, or I forgot the names of the stuff. Fuck, I forgot it. But yeah, it just didn't feel real. It felt like a simulation. Like I was working, like, I don't know. It was just really weird that I worked there, honestly. But yeah. And then, oh my God, so that would only be for like annual exams. But then I had to start learning how to do glaucoma exams, cataracts exams, post-op cataract surgery exams, fitness tests, just like different appointments, not just annual exams, because annual exams I got down to a science. Okay. But I had to start doing like glaucoma screenings, exams, whatever. And we'd have to do like these like different tests, and I'd have to dilate patients. Like, what? Girl, I work at Chante. Like, all I knew was Chante and Firehouse Subs. Like, why the fuck was I working there, actually? It's so crazy to me. And yeah, and there just was a lot of issues, I think, that happened like towards the end, and it was just a little messy. I wasn't the best. I really wasn't the best. What's the name? I wasn't the best. What am I to my boss? I guess worker. What am I thinking of? Like, what I am to my boss. Not client. What the fuck? The best. I'll just say worker. I don't know what word why am I forgetting this word? It's a very simple word. Okay, whatever. I just wasn't the best worker. Honestly. I also was just like mentally not doing well this time. And like I wasn't a bad worker by any means. I just like I definitely could have been better, but I also just feel like I was so young and a little stupid, and like I didn't take it as seriously as most people that have that job should be taking it. I think I tried my best for the most part. I think towards the end I definitely started like just like wanted to get out of there, and then ended up putting my 2 weeks in. I think that's the only job I've ever put my 2 weeks in, because like I said, every job I've like needed to immediately quit for whatever reason. Or I didn't have enough respect for the workers or the my boss for whatever job to give them 2 weeks, because they didn't respect me. But this job I respected my boss, so I gave her 2 weeks, and then yeah, and then I knew I was gonna be going back to Texas for the summer, so I quit a month before I left back for Texas, because I wanted to just be unemployed for a month and fucking shit and fart around. Like, I don't even know what I did for that month. Like, oh my God. Yeah, but yeah, I worked there. Really random point in my life, honestly. Like, not real at all. Don't really associate with that person. I don't know. I feel like I was very lost at that time. But, anyways, yeah. So, worked there. And then I worked at Big Fish and Chante in the summer. Duh. Always go back there. But I worked at Chante and Big Fish. Lane's dad's restaurant, where everyone in Lane's life works. Hi, Lane. Hey, girl, for listening. I know you and your roommates like to listen to this. Hi, y'all. Shout out. Um, but yeah, great times. Me and Sydney worked there together. And Lane, duh. Um, great times. Just a little side gig this summer, and then worked both of those. And yeah. And then I actually just got a job, and I start orientation on Sunday. So maybe I'll have some fun news stories from that one, because Lord knows that'll happen. But yeah, so I worked about 8 jobs. So I think that's all of them. I'd be really upset if I forgot one. But yeah, that's my employment history. I actually blacked out for this whole episode. I don't know what the fuck I've been talking about. Like, I know I've been talking about jobs, but I don't remember a single thing I've said. So sorry that I talked about Olive Garden for like 20 minutes. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, I will see if I even upload this. As you can tell, I'm just really bored and lonely on this Friday night. But I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, and I honestly feel like a weird weight lifted off my chest. The fact that I like finished my employment history, you know, because like the little part of my brain is like my little OCD bug that I sometimes get. I'm like, oh, it pisses me off that I didn't like finish all my, you know, employment history stuff. So I'm glad I closed this chapter of episodes. And next episode I'll be talking about more dating stories. Wrap that one up. Um all right. Hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening. Have a beautiful night. Have a beautiful day. You are so loved. Okay, bye.